They say a single picture can change a life. But when billionaire CEO Ethan Cole opened a viral charity post and saw the photo of a frail woman kneeling on a cold sidewalk, begging for her sick mother's medicine, his entire world stopped. The woman's tired eyes, messy hair, and trembling hands were almost unrecognizable, almost. But the moment he saw the faint scar near her lip, he dropped his coffee, heart pounding. That wasn't just anyone. That was his ex-wife, Clara, the woman he once loved and lost. Ethan Cole, the youngest billionaire in the city, was known for his cold precision. He ran Cole Enterprises like a machine. No emotion, no hesitation, no weakness. Everything in his world was perfect, from his towering glass office to his tailored suits. But deep inside, there was a corner of his heart that had been sealed off for 5 long years, a place he'd buried the name Clara Bennett. Clara had once been his everything, his sunshine when his world was gray. They had met before the billions, before the empire, when Ethan was just an ambitious architect and she was an art teacher who believed in dreams more than money. Their love had been wild, passionate, and real. But when tragedy struck, when Clara miscarried their baby and Ethan's company hit crisis, he buried himself in work, shutting her out completely. Words were left unsaid, tears were never wiped, and soon their love story shattered under pressure. She walked away with nothing and disappeared. He never saw her again, until today. Ethan leaned back in his leather chair, staring at the screen. The charity post had been shared thousands of times. The caption read, "Homeless woman begging to save her mother's life. Every penny counts." His assistant Mia knocked softly. "Sir, you're meeting with the investors. Cancel it," he cut her off sharply. His voice was low but trembling. "Sir? I said cancel everything for today." He zoomed in on the picture again. Clara's face, paler, thinner, broken, but still hers. He traced the screen gently with his thumb, as if touching her could make the years vanish. Hours later, Ethan's black car pulled into the crowded streets of downtown. He hadn't been here in years, the part of town he once promised he'd take Clara away from forever. He scanned every corner until he saw her, sitting by an old pharmacy, clutching a cardboard sign that read, "Please help, my mother is sick, need medicine." Her clothes were worn, her hair tied in a messy bun, her hands trembling as she reached out to passers-by who barely looked her way. Ethan stepped out, ignoring the curious stares. His heart thudded painfully as he walked closer. "Clara," he whispered. She looked up slowly, her eyes widened in disbelief, as if she was staring at a ghost. Ethan?" Her voice cracked. "What are you doing here?" "I should be asking you that," he said softly, kneeling beside her. Clara blinked rapidly, clutching the cardboard tighter. "Please, don't pity me." "I'm not pitying you," he said. "I'm trying to understand." Her lips quivered, and for a long moment she said nothing. Then, in a shaky voice, she whispered, "My mother, she's in the hospital. The bills, they keep adding up. I lost my job, Ethan. Art school shut down. I sold everything, tried everything. Now, this is all I can do." Ethan swallowed hard, guilt washing over him like a flood. How could he have lived in luxury while she suffered like this? Without a word, he took off his coat and draped it over her shoulders. "Come with me," he said quietly. "Please." Clara shook her head. "No, I can't. I don't want your charity." "It's not charity," he said, voice breaking. "It's love, the kind I should have shown years ago." Her eyes filled with tears, but she turned away. "It's too late for that, Ethan." But Ethan didn't give up. That night, he secretly paid off the hospital bills for Clara's mother and arranged for her to be moved to a private care facility. When Clara found out the next morning, she stormed into his office, barefoot and furious. "You had no right," she shouted, her voice echoing through the sleek glass halls. "I had every right," Ethan replied, standing tall. "Because I never stopped caring." Clara's eyes softened for a moment before she looked away. "You cared more for your empire than for me. You chose work over family, Ethan." He stepped closer. "And I lost both. I can't change the past, Clara, but I can fix the present. Please, let me help." Over the next few weeks, Ethan stayed close, not as the billionaire CEO, but as the man who once promised to protect her. He visited Clara's mother every day, ensuring she had the best doctors. He bought Clara new art supplies, encouraging her to paint again. Slowly, she began to smile, the kind of smile he hadn't seen since their early days together. But the wounds between them ran deep. One evening, while they sat by the hospital garden, Clara looked at him and said softly, "Why now, Ethan? Why care when I'm already broken?" He looked at her, eyes filled with pain. "Because I was broken too. I thought success would fill the emptiness, but every award, every deal, it all reminded me of you." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "You don't owe me anything." He smiled sadly. "Maybe not. But I owe you everything." Days turned into weeks. Clara's mother recovered, thanks to Ethan's quiet generosity. Clara, too, started painting again, color returning to her world. She even held a small art exhibition sponsored by one of Ethan's foundations, but she didn't know it was him behind it. When she found out, she confronted him again, but this time, not in anger. "You did all this, why?" she asked softly. "Because you once believed in me when no one else did," Ethan said. "Now it's my turn to believe in you." Clara looked into his eyes, the same deep brown eyes that once made her heart flutter. She wanted to hate him, to stay strong, but all she saw was sincerity. Then one night, after her exhibition ended, Ethan stood outside under the city lights waiting for her. "I have something to show you," he said. He led her to a quiet park, the same place where he had proposed years ago. The bench they once sat on was still there, but this time it had a small brass plaque engraved with words that made her gasp. "To my muse, my strength, my forever, Clara." Tears filled her eyes. "You remembered," he nodded. "I never forgot." Ethan took her hands gently. "I don't expect forgiveness, Clara, but if you'll let me, I want to start over, not as a billionaire and a beggar, but as two people who once loved deeply and deserve a second chance." Clara's voice trembled. "Ethan, I don't know if I can trust you again." He smiled softly. "Then let me earn it, day by day." Months passed. Clara's art career flourished again, her paintings filled with hope and light. Ethan, once the ruthless CEO, learned to live beyond boardrooms and contracts. He started a foundation to help struggling artists, naming it the Clara Foundation. The world called it charity. He called it redemption. One evening, Clara stood at a charity gala, dressed elegantly yet simply. Ethan walked to her, smiling shyly. "You look like the woman I fell in love with." "And you," she said with a small laugh, "look like the man who finally learned to feel." He chuckled. "So, friends? Maybe more," she whispered. And as the music swelled and the cameras flashed, the once broken couple shared a quiet moment of peace. Not a fairy tale, not a perfect ending, but a new beginning. Life doesn't always give us second chances, but love, when it's real, never truly dies. It waits patiently, silently, for the moment we finally choose forgiveness over pride, compassion over ego.